Hello and welcome back on this new video. In this video, I'm going to show you actually, my 10 Tableau tips and tricks, that, I believe every beginner in Tableau should know about, right? And hopefully this will serve as a refresher, for anyone at an advanced level actually. So my first trick here that I want to show you here is, how to get rid of, ABC strings. Usually when you start uploading, especially for beginners, and then when slide any dimension, to the rows or the column, you have all these ABCs, and sometimes it's upsetting and you want to get rid of them. And here is how actually you can get rid, of this string. So let me grab the state here and put in the rows, and then you have this ABC, right? You have this string in here, right? And you want to get rid of the string, right? You may even want to, add it up a city in there. And again, when you have this given city, you have a state in Alabama, you have the city, and then for each given state you have various cities in there, right? This is global superstore data, right? So you have this ABC, you don't want them, right? You want to get rid of them. So one of the easiest way to get rid of them is to have a a measure, is to slide the measure in there. Like say I want to put in there the profit, for example. If you put profit, so the string gets swap by the profit, and then you get rid of them. Another thing is you do not want to have any range or any dimension, I mean any measure in there. You just want to have state and city. That's it. You don't want to have a third column. To do that, what you will need to do, if you don't want to slide any other column, additional column to this, will be to create a blank, right? You create a blank. You go into calculated field, you come up with a blank. You create a calculated field that you can call, I don't know, empty. Okay, yeah, so you create an empty string here that you call, just something empty, right? And then you apply, okay. Now when you slide the empty into filters, into your test here, it's going to get rid of the test, because this is a test. ABC is a test, so you put into test here, and then it will take care of it, and it's gone. So this is another way you can get rid of this, right? So trick number two is actually here, PPT like report details, right? Sometimes when you are building a report, in PPT, in PowerPoint, it's very easy for you to, to come at the bottom, of the, of your report, to put the source of your data. It depends, like say when you are working, in healthcare, or say a marketing company, and then you have a bunch of sources where your data come from, like say Facebook, say Instagram, I don't know, Reddit and whatever, YouTube and so on. Your data come from a bunch of sources, right? And whenever you have a graph that you plot on information that you display, on your PPT, there is always a source that you put at the bottom left of your PPT. So hopefully sometimes you feel like in Tableau it's difficult to get that done. So this tricks is actually to showcase actually how you can have the same exact thing that you do in PPT in Tableau. But this is actually a PowerPoint report actually. So usually in PowerPoint, when you build a report down there, you come here and then you put data source. So the sources, it depends on where the data is coming from. So when you come to Tableau here, let's assume you have this visualization, and then you want to precise at the bottom, like the one I just showed earlier, that you want to have the source of your data, where the data is coming from, or you want to add on, some details, about, what actually the visualization is about, and so on. You can just right click, on this empty screen here. You go to caption. Caption is actually the one that gives you this source. So this is more like the source, that we just show right here. So at the bottom here, you see caption here, and it says sum of sales for each segment. Color shows details about category. The marks are labeled by sum of sales. This actually gives you a breakdown of what is really going on above here about the visualization. How this is, the bar graph is being broken down. Now if you are not interested in this, if you don't want to give any detail about this, but you just want to show source of your data or so on, you just come here at the right side here. You will see edit caption or hide caption, or you can format it. It depends. So you can just go here on editing. If you want to edit, if you don't like this sentence, you can change this. You can just wipe it out and write whatever you want. Let's assume I would just want to say source of data or whatever. Anything that you want to write down here, you can just go ahead, you put your source, whatever, and then The coloring, you can change the coloring, right? If you do not want this color, you don't want something blue, you can do so. If you want to make it bolder, you want to change any feature on it, you can do all of that in here. If you want to center it, you want to put it on the right or left hand side, you can do all of that. You apply and then you okay, and that's it. And you see it's been changed here. That's where you can put the source of your data. And yeah, next trick. The third trick here is actually adding totals, to your table. Here I'm going to add another dimension here. I'm going to add up here, instead of having state, I'm going to add cities. So let me add up, like, cities, to this state, to the row side here. So for each state, for each state, we have different cities here, right? Say for Alabama here, okay, we have Auburn, we have Decatur, we have Florence, and so on. And then we have the average profit here, right? So I'm going to change actually this, this, because here I put the average. So let me change this measure to some. What I'm interested in here, first of all, is how to add up totals, right? Because in Excel this is very easy, but over here definitely you will be wondering, okay, for this very state I just have the profit, but I do not know, like, what's the total profit. When you come down to Arizona, the same thing goes, right? Or one of the way, is to come to analysis here. So you go at the top of your Tableau, you go to analysis, and then at the analysis level you will see totals here, right? You say, now you have difference, you have show, row grand total, column grand total, row to the left, column to the top, and so on. So you have all these various way of showing, the totals here and subtotals. So the one I want to add here, first of all, I want to add the subtotal. Is something I'm very much interested in, meaning like for each state, right, I want to have the total. So for, like, Alabama, we have like 7 or 8 cities here. So the total for this very state is 5,000. That's the total profit here, right? In Arizona, the same thing goes. Actually, this was a loss, actually, a loss of 3,400 and so on. So because we have so many, we have more losses than gains here, than profit, if you want to, right? And it goes down the ladder. And then when I scroll down, you see we have all this subtotal, and the subtotal is shown here by state. Now if I want to have, like, this is subtotal that I add up. If I want to have like a total of total, which means actually the total profit for the entire United States, because this is by state, right? If I want to have the overall total here, I can add up this one again. You go up here to analysis again, totals, the one that I shown earlier here. If you can, if you see, I add up here all subtotals. Right now I can remove it if I want to as well, but now I want to add, grand total actually. So you look up here and then you look at, column totals to the top, row totals, and so on. So what I want to add here is actually grand total. And grand total of what? It's column grand total. So show grand totals here. So let me show the grand total. And if we scroll down, we should be able to see the grand total here. The grand total is 288,000. 286. My fourth trick here is actually table labeling. Like missing title. Sometimes, when you have these, you slide your data in Tableau to visualize it. There is, you are trying to build a table, there is always a title that is missing. And you feel, sometimes you kind of feel like, okay, how do I get the title? Because you want to have the title, because you only have 2 rows that you are showing your data, and you want to necessarily, you want to have the title shown, but sometimes it doesn't come up. So this actually, to how actually you can get the title display. The state here, and I want to look into the profit. So have the various state by profit. Now there is something missing in here, right? The profit, we don't see any label here, as regard the profit. Now you want to have this profit right here. We have the state here, but we do not have the profit. It doesn't show anything right here, but you want to actually have it shown. So the first thing you want to do here, if you want to have this shown, is but if I'm to add up, let's say quantity by state, you see the profit appear right here, right? It does appear, and then you have the profit, and then you have the quantity. But if it's just let me go back here, it's just the profit, right? It doesn't show. So well, if I do add a second and measure here, like quantity, and then everything is shown. Now if you want to keep the name, because if I actually try to remove the quantity, I will not have the I mean, I don't need the quantity actually, I only need the profit. So if I'm to remove, for example, the quantity here from the measure, you see the name actually disappear. So the if you want to keep the name here, one of the trick here is to go up here, you go into edit filter, right? You do not want to have a quantity, you only want to have profit. So you just edit filter, you apply, and then okay, and quantity will disappear, the profit will remain, but the name will still be there. So that's one of the quickest trick to maintain the name profit here without having this one right here. Number five trick here is actually changing the naming convention, that what we call actually aliases, right? Say instead of me actually showing here the profit, I'm not interested in profit. Say I was interested in average profit or another dimension, right? So let's change this. Let's go to quick table calculation. Instead of having this measure sum, I can change this to average profit, right? It says average profit. Let's make this increase the size, so yeah, okay, cool. Average profit, clearly you can now see the label, right? It says average profit. But let's assume that I'm not interested in this naming convention. Like I want to change the naming convention, put something else, right? This is called alias. So I want to change this alias into something else, a name that a naming convention that having average dot profit. I just want to put a average profit without the dot, or something else. You just right click here, and then you will say edit alias. So we go into edit alias. This is the name that we have right here. So when you right click, is average profit. If I'm not interested in, let's say, average dot profit, and then I just want to have, let's say, average dash, I mean profit, right? Or just average profit. I don't want to have anything else. I just want to have avg profit. This is how you can change it. Okay. And if I have to, I want to have, like, say, average, like in full letter here, like average profit. So I'm gonna have it that way. Okay, and okay, that's it. And this will change right here, and then you have average profits. My next rule will be showing and hiding labels at the will. Sometimes you have labels in your graph that for one reason or the other you want to show them, but for another reason you don't want to show them. Why? Because sometimes your visualization might looks kind of too much, I would say crowded, right? You may have a bunch of information in there, very difficult to digest. This only represent the sales by segment, broken down into categories. So we have three categories here, right? Furniture, office supplies, and technology, right? So here's the furniture, this is office supply, and then technology, and it's for each of of these three segments. Now clearly you can see, if I want to know like what's the total sales, say for furniture, I have to hover over before I can see the amount, which is on 391,000, and the same here, 363 here, 406, right? Now like there is a saying that that goes like a word, I mean like a graph is worth 1,000 words. So if someone looks into your visualization, should be able to picture actually what you are showing, without actually having to hover over and whatever. When he looks into the visualization, he should be able to like tell a story about the visualization. And the best way to tell a story here is to have these labels at the top of your bar, like these 406. All these total sales supposed to be shown on each of these bar. And to do that is very simple, right? You just have to have the total sales in the label column here. So you drag, good, and then you have everything here. Now the trick that I want to show, this is the normal way of doing it, but there is a very shortcut that you can quickly use to do that, which is at the top here, the T, the one that says T, that's the label here. You just click on the T, and at will, either you want to show it or you want to hide it. Or if you don't feel like showing it up, having these labels at the top here, you can just click on it to get to have them disappear, to hide or hidden. And if you want to show them, you just click back again, and then they are shown. So this is one of these very simple. And then next trick here is actually flipping up the tables, flipping up actually the labels with table layouts. When you have a visualization at the bottom, sometimes the for this segment, the naming convention here, you don't want to have them at the bottom for one reason or the other. You want to have them at the top here. It depends on the visual user, but sometimes you want to have all these name at the top. To do that is very simple, right? You just go at the top of your Tableau and then you click on analysis. When you click on analysis, you drag here, you will see somewhere it says table layout. When you see table layout, you click on advanced table layout. You click on advanced, and by default, the advanced says here show innermost level at the bottom of view when there is a vertical axis. So whenever there is a vertical axis, by default, Tableau shows the innermost level at the bottom. And you don't want it at the bottom, you want it at the top. So to do that, you just uncheck this one. When you uncheck, you apply, and then okay, that's it. It will just go back up. So that's there you have it here. So you see consumer is here, corporate is here, and then office supply. So it depends again, if for one reason or the other you want to have these at the top. So this is how you just go about it. Number eight here is about separating legends colors for different measure. So when you have measures, sometimes you have a bunch of measures, I don't know, 3 4 5 different measures. And then when you set up a coloring for your measure on the table, they come up with the same color, diverging color actually. But at some point, for one reason or the other, you want to have different color for different measures. Say you are like over here, you have categories broken down into total sales, average sales, and then median sales. Now what I want to do here is to have different coloring for each of these measures. So when you come down to total sales, the highest sales should have a much, if let's say assume that I have a color diverging, right? So the highest sale will have a much higher color, it will be much more highlighted, and then followed by the less the less value, and then and so on. So if you come down here to average sale, the same thing goes to it, and you come down to median sales, the same thing as well. So, and to do that is very simple, right? You come down to, first of all, we need to actually slide the measure values here. When you look at the test value here, the measure need to be slide into color so that we will have a coloring of color. Great. Here's what we have here. So we have a diverging color from 27 up to 836,000, right? Which is the highest actually. The lowest here, when you look at the whole entire table, is 27. But I do not want it, this coloring. One may want to have this coloring like that, right? The lowest value to have this, to be diverging from the lowest to the highest. But what I'm trying to achieve here, the trick I'm trying to show you, let's assume you just want to have a different coloring for total sales, the different coloring for average and median sales. To do that, what you need to is just simply come down here to the value, measure value that you put into color. You click on it, and then you will see use separate legend. You click on separate legend, and you have different coloring for each of these rows. Clearly you will see when you come down to total sale, the highest value has a blue color, the other one is light blue, right? And when you come up here to average sales, the same thing goes over here as well. Now this is kind of confusing because you have the same color for each of the measure. You don't want that, right? You want to have different coloring for each of these measure. So let's assume like this blue color is fine for the total sales. For the average sale, we'll change this coloring. So we edit the coloring, and then instead of choosing actually blue here, great, so I will change this to maybe something green. Yeah, that would be great. Greener. Okay, cool. And then apply this one here, and then okay. So for this one, this is what I chose to, right? And then the third one, I will come up with a different coloring. Edit again the color, and I will change this right here. You have different choices. You can click right here to change the coloring, whichever one you want to do. If you want to put purple, if you want to put brown, and so on. So I'll choose this one right here, maybe this brown color. Okay, apply this right here, and then okay, and there we have it. And clearly you can see this green seems not to be so that fine. I can edit this one again to make it something much better. Let me see which one I can come forward with. Oh, yeah, this is way better. I think this is much more. Yeah, clearly you can see we want 19 now. And then we have three different colors, right? We have blue diverging, we have green, and then we have this orange. So we have three different colors for three different measures. So actually that was the trick I was trying to show here. My next trick, which is the second to the last, is grouping data in Tableau. Actually, how you can group data. Yes, this next trick is a very important trick. It's my second to the last trick actually. Here is actually about grouping data in Tableau. Okay, so let's assume that you have these cities, various cities here, in United States, and then specific with measure like the total sales and then the total profit, in each and every city. Let's assume you just want to group cities with names starting from A, and then group cities that has names starting from B. To any state, any cities that start from A, you want to have their total sale all together and then the profit as well. And cities that start from B, you want to do the same, right? To do that, you need to first of all group the cities, right? And then when you group it, come back here, to the data, the tables, you go on cities and go on create, find create group. So you want to create a group here of the cities. First of all, you need to field name. You need to name a group actually. So this says here city group. So we can call it. We can keep it that way, right? City group, or we can say um city dot group actually. Instead of having these parentheses, you can say city dot group, right? And let me put cheese here like that. So that's the name I have for it, right? That's the field name here. Now next thing you want to do here is to find your group, right? So you come down here and I want to find my group, right? So there is no group here to find, so I will try and create my group. So what I'm trying to do here is to contain. You have two choices. Either you want to find a specific name, right? Or you want to find, because when you come down here where you say contains, maybe your group contains specific words, right? And maybe that's what you want. Or you want a group that starts from a specific name, or you want to extract a match, like matching. What I want to do here is to start point. I want to find cities that have a very particular name starting from letter A. So I will use start with A. So any group that start with A, I want to put them all together, right? Find all. So these are the cities, with names starting from A. So when you find them, you have them, you group them. You click on group here, it will group all of them all together, right? And then we will apply this and okay. So that's my city group here, right? And then you okay this, right? So when you come back in here, you already have city group. Now if I want to create like a second group, let's say city is starting from B, I can do the same as well, right? You can just edit your group and say I want to find group that contains, I want to say contains start from B. So go here, start with B. Okay, you want to get something that start with letter B, find all of them, and then you group them. You click on group, it will group them. So we have the first one starting from A, a second one starting from B, right? And then you apply and then okay. So now what we will do, we will use our city group and come down here and then switch this one, the city right here, we switch with city group. So we switch this one over, we can take this one out, and then we have our group. Clearly you can see here the first group actually total sales was is 92,000, and then total profit 12,000 for the first group. These are sales starting from A. The second group here is the city with name starting from letter B, right? So we have like something like 34, I believe, because 3 and 31 more, so this is like 34 different cities, right? The total sales here is 73,000 plus, and then the profit 3,000 plus. So last week here, my last that will be do axis in Tableau. This is something that is always, as usually when you are doing some interview as regard Tableau, they always ask you this question like dual axis, like how to build dual axis in Tableau. So this is actually addressing the building of dual axis in Tableau. So let's quickly try to look at say time series data. We just look at the total sales by order date actually. So let's look at the order dates and then yeah, sales. So what I'm trying to do here is to plot a line chart, so I can just move this one right here. So and clearly you can see this is actually a yearly data, so I can break this one down into monthly. Sorry, the monthly data. So this is a monthly data set, right? Now if you want to build a dual axis here, say this is actually total sales, monthly sales, actually profit for each of these sales, right? If you want to look at the profit here in the same, actually the same, graph, so you can just drag the profit here and then bring it to the other side. See, when you bring it to the right side of the visualization, you see some dot, right? A vertical line with some dots. When you see that, you know that you're on the right side. So you just drag and leave it there, and a new axis is created, and then you have the profit with different colors. So the sales come with this color, orange, and then the blue color is actually your profit. Now of course you can change this coloring if you don't like the blue. If you want to have the profit as the other color, it's something that can be easily changed, right? You just click on it, you edit the color, and then you change it. So that shouldn't be a big problem. Now what's important here is to look at the axis. This is how the dual axis is created. You have two different axes, right? You have sales and then you have profit. And again, the measure here, you will definitely see that the axis on the sales side is different from the profit. Why? Because simply because profit, you have negative, value in profit, which are actually losses. But with the sales, there is no way you will get a negative sales, right? Sales is this color here. They are all positive. The lowest sales is observed here. I believe it's something like 800 or whatever. That's the lowest sales, and so on. The profit, you have some negative values, which means losses were registered. Now this is one way of doing dual axis. If you don't want to use this way, there is another way that you can come up with dual axis, right? Instead of dragging, clearly you can see when we drag and then we create a second one here, we have two measure here. We were having just total sales. Now we have sum of profit, which is to say, like, actually if you want to create dual axis, instead of dragging and leaving it up here, you can just drag the total sales, profit, and then drop it down here, and then you have dual axis as well. So let's actually get that done here. Let's say I want to do the dual axis. Instead of me grabbing the profit and bringing, like I say, you slide it to the right side, and when you see the vertical line, you leave it there. I will put my sum of profit here at the top here on the row side, which is actually the the vertical line. So let me drop it right here, and again you have two different axes that are created here, right? But you need to merge these to have a dual axis, because right now you do not have dual axis. Actually, you have two different. You have profit in one axis, and then the total sales another one. So you just come here, you click up here on the second measure, the profit, and down here is a dual axis. You click on dual axis, and then boom, you want to merge it together, and you will have your dual axis. This is how dual axis is created. And you can add up some cosmetic, like I said, changing the coloring, or if you want to have this dimension one axis instead of having two different axes, you can actually merge these two axes to have just a single axis. Actually, that's also possible. Yes, that's actually what I have for these. These are actually my first 10 tricks in Tableau. There are many more to come. Actually, that's not the last one. I'll have other tricks in Tableau, and I'll keep on giving 10 Tableau tricks every single month. I'll keep on doing that, and I'll do the same with Google Data Studio. Actually, I'll come up with 10 tricks in Google Data Studio, and yeah, I believe every single month I will come up with 10 different tricks, so that hopefully this will help any beginner in BI tools, to get to understand these little tricks. And that may be a refresher for anyone in an advanced level in Tableau or any other BI tools, to refresh, his brain or whatever, because I'm sure you already know it before. But when you see that, you'll be like, oh, actually, may have forgotten. So when you get to see it, it reminds you of, what you know before, and hopefully that may help in one way or the other. Don't forget to like and share this video if you like it with your loved ones, and see you on the next one.